Poland's top court rules against the primacy of EU law. Source in English. Kary za nieuznawaną Izbę Dyscyplinarną. Komisja Europejska potrąciła Polsce 69 milionów euro z funduszy unijnych. Penalties equal to 69 million euros for Polish disciplinary chamber. Source in Polish. Règles européennes liées à l'état de droit. Longueur à la Pologne ont peu de chances de succès. European rules related to the rule of law. Hungary and Poland have little chance of success. Source in French. These three different articles share two common characteristics. Firstly, they all refer to the rule of law crisis in Poland, a country in which we live, a country whose domestic policy we should know. And secondly, they are all difficult to understand having only read the headlines without the knowledge of the context. These articles epitomize the key problem that teenagers face nowadays when they try to understand what is the rule of law. This problem is that media talk about the current rule of law crisis in a complex way so that we, teenagers, cannot understand it without any background legal knowledge, and hence we are unaware of the events that are taking place around us. So what's the solution to this problem? To take matters in our own hands and make sure that we can understand what is the rule of law. That's a photo of highlighters on my desk. You may ask, how is it relevant to the issue of the rule of law? However, there is more to it than meets the eye. Both the order of highlighters on the desk as well as the rule of law constitute a set of rules that allows us to function well in society. Frankly, I feel anxious and cannot study whenever any of my highlighters is missing. And the same goes for a state without the rule of law. This simple example brings me to the fundamental conclusion. In order to understand the current rule of law crisis, we need to start from our daily lives and the mechanisms that are present in it. Therefore, I would like to present you a 3-step guide to the rule of law in our daily lives. The first step is to write the Constitution in our hearts, as it was said by Professor Marcin Matczak. According to the definition, the Constitution is a set of rules that allows for the functioning of a country, of an organization, but also of ourselves. So how to do it? Sit and think about the values that are important to you, such as loyalty, kindness, tolerance, empathy, or courage. Consider what you can do in order to implement those values into all areas of your life, and voila, you have your own constitution. Why is it so important? The current crisis of the rule of law starts with the existence of low morale, disrespect towards particular social groups, disrespect towards the established set of rules, lack of the ability to communicate, conduct peaceful dialogue, express your ideas freely. We can't relate to the current crisis of the rule of law because we treat public debate as a matter of politics, not our daily lives. However, if we establish our own set of rules, our own internal constitution, we will be able to identify when it is violated, also on a larger scale of public debates. It won't be a matter of politics anymore. We will identify the problem and hence be able to actually understand what is the crisis of the rule of law. The second step is to realize that writing new constitution brings no change but a different sheet of paper, as it was claimed by Professor Ewa Łętowska. We have already written our own constitution. What's next? We must do everything what we can in order to implement the rules that are important to us into real life. We must be aware that changing law won't improve the situation. It's not the law itself, but our obedience towards it that defines the rule of law. So, how to do it? Let's act according to the rules that are so important to us. Let's not talk about the significance of peaceful dialogue. Let's conduct this type of dialogue every day with our parents, siblings, enemies, or friends. Let's not talk about tolerance. Let's show our approach by fighting against racism, by supporting feminism, by being respectful towards any social groups. We must realize that it's vital that we become the change that we seek to see in the others. It is commonly believed that writing new law will stop the current crisis of the rule of law. However, it won't bring any visible changes as such law already exists. It just isn't obeyed. By implementing our values into our lives, we will do the analogous thing to the execution of the Constitution by a state. Of course, we may not manage to force the government to act according to the existing laws, but we can certainly better understand the current crisis of the rule of law by using the same mechanisms in our daily lives. The third step is to actually understand the problem. Ignorantia juris nocet. Not knowing the law is harmful. We've all heard that when we learned about ancient Rome during our history classes. It is our responsibility as teenagers to follow the events that are taking place around us. The previous steps have shown us how to identify the problem, but now it is time to actually gain some legal knowledge. So how to do it? Reading headlines and articles, checking the terms that we can't understand, asking our parents, friends, and teachers questions, participating in lectures with lawyers organized by NGOs, Polish or international universities, even watching series such as Suits or How to Get Away with Murder. Nowadays, there exist thousands of possibilities for us to gain some legal knowledge. Everyone can find something for themselves. We shouldn't get influenced by the popular notion that we don't need legal knowledge if we don't want to study law. Of course, we don't need to learn the Polish constitution by heart, but we should be aware of the events that are taking place around us. You may wonder what will be the result of these actions. Not only will we be able to understand all the headlines, but we will also recognize the nature of the rule of law crisis in 21st century. The rules regarding the rule of law will become almost as simple as the rules of sorting highlighters on our desks. Thank you very much.